So internet's a little sketchy. There, I'm back again. Internet's a little sketchy, but Impulse Physical Therapy, Western New York, 5-star facilities, 5-star staff. Whether you get your sports testing done, they have all the tools over there that you need. Again, at 5087 Broadway in Depew, New York, Suite 100, right next to Catalyst Fitness. Let them know we sent you over. Sabres lose a tough one, 5-1 today to Columbus. Honestly, it was never really close. Sabres were tied at one point after the goal from Josh Doan, after a really nice pass from Josh Norris, Josh. But, I mean, realistically, I'll just say it. It was a very uninspiring effort from the Sabres at 3:00 start puck drop. Especially with a chance to make history. I think that's probably the part that upsets fans the most is, you had a chance to really, make it 11 in a row, which would have been a franchise record. And unfortunately, you weren't able to get that done. I think every single player, I saw one comment that every single Olympian, the player that was just named Olympian, did not look good tonight, from Tage Thompson to Dahlin to UPL. None of them look good. They just did not at all. And would be Olympians too, including Alex Tuck. You would think that there would be, given the circumstances, they see how hyped up the city is for him, that they come out with a little bit more will to win. Again, who knows what it's one game. And as much as I love to joke, with Hurls on episodes before this, like, this team will never lose again, the old Shoresy line. Yeah, they were going to lose another game, and it happened to be tonight, unfortunately. And you just wish that the effort, I keep saying that word effort, but it kind of rings true here, that the performance would have been better. You know what I mean? A little more will to win, a little more desperation in their game. Really felt like they were going through the motions. Puck management was not good at all. And again, not to get down on this guy in particular, but the goaltending wasn't good tonight. It just wasn't. Was it his fault they lost? No, absolutely not. You scored one goal. I would say at least 2 goals you definitely want back. I know Thompson blew a tire that led to that shorthanded breakaway, but I mean, UPL was out of his net, and it wasn't like it was anything. You have a player out there that's a sniper or has some elite shot. He just flat out beat UPL on a breakaway. It's a shot from like almost top of the faceoff circles. You want to save there. I think you want a save on the 4th goal too, the Olivier goal. I would like to see Owen Power show a little bit more fortitude there and try and disrupt Olivier a little bit more. But at the end of the day, I think you need a save there too. So, again, but leading into this, the last 3 starts he's had during this 10-game streak, he had a goals against of 1. He's been great for them. So it's not his fault they won last night. I think it was a collective effort, no doubt, from everybody. But unfortunately, again, you're not going to win every game. I can see it in the chat. You guys are pretty fired up. I should be good now. I don't know if I muted from the start. Can you guys let me know if I was muted for the start? Did I get through my ad reads? I hope so. Sound. Did we get through the ad reads, guys? Those in the chat? Because if not, then I gotta redo them. So I did not get through the ad reads. Okay. No more airport talk unless they make playoffs. Well, if I didn't get the ad reads, I gotta do them again right now, unfortunately. Well, guys, thanks for tuning in. This is I'll Hang Up and Listen. Sabres miss out on the chance to make history tonight. Unfortunately, losing 5-1 to Columbus. Had a chance to get the franchise record for a winning streak. It would have been 11 games. They did have 10 in a row back in 2018. So to remind you guys, all this has been brought to you by Fatty Beer Company, Western New York's premier market and tap room, with over 300 beers to choose from at 7 different Western locations. If you need a beer, make sure you get to a Fatty Beer. Let them know 2 goalies, 1 Mike sent you. Great vibes, especially in here heading to the new year. You want to celebrate a Sabres win, or like tonight, maybe throw a few back and vent a little bit to your fellow Sabres fan, fellow beer buddy, as Nick Fatty says. Get over to a Fatty Beer. Also, Extreme Discount Mattress, Western New York's premier spot for and had the finest selections of mattresses and adjustable beds featuring the cool gel memory foam mattress, the two-sided mattress, Tele latex, organic mattresses, Chatham and Wells, Scott and Living mattresses, all for a third to a half the supposed sale price anywhere. So stop at any of their 7 locations across Western New York and check out their website, extrememattress.com. If you're looking for even more savings, check their new closeout center at 1625 Walden Avenue in Cheektowaga with up to 80% off of their... I'm at a family party right now. That's why everyone's being so quiet. One second. I got a family party going on, unfortunately. If you're looking for even more savings, check out their new closeout center at 1625 Walden Avenue, Cheektowaga, with the 80% off their already low prices. Save up to fortune on one-of-a-kinds, closeouts, and floor samples. You can get a quality mattress for literally pennies on the dollar. Extreme discount mattress. We have sell mattresses for less, a lot less. And, of course, Impulse Physical Therapy, Western New York. 5-star facilities, 5-star staff at 5087 Broadway in Depew, Suite 100, right next to Catalyst Fitness. Make sure you check them out if you're trying to recover from a sports-related injury, work-related injury, trying to get your sports testing done. They have it all over at Impulse Physical Therapy. So, again, 5087 Depew, New York, on Broadway, Depew, New York, Suite 100, next to Catalyst Fitness. Now, to get back into it, again, with a chance to make history tonight, Buffalo could not get it done. Getting an 11th win in a row, losing to Columbus 5-1, and again, in what was felt like a very uninspiring effort. Their playmakers, the players you need to lean on to make plays. I mean, with maybe the exception of like Josh Norris and Josh Doan, I felt like the whole team just laid an egg tonight. It was tied at one point, 1-1, again off the nifty pass from Josh Norris to Josh Doan, Josh to Josh. But after that, I mean, I felt the Sabres felt really checked out. It didn't seem like a team that had the willingness to make history tonight. And and we're not going to sit here again. We're not going to blame UPL for tonight, but I think he will want 2 of those shots back, no doubt about it. The shorthanded breakaway, the shot from like the top of the faceoff circle. I mean, UPL is no excuse there. He was set and ready, and he just got beat pretty cleanly. And then the Olivier goal, for sure, is one that I think he would want back. I even on that, the Olivier goal, I'd like a better effort there from not Tage. I'm sorry, Owen Power. Owen Power didn't really make enough of an effort, in my opinion, to disrupt Olivier. I know Olivier is a strong player. He skates really hard, but I mean, you're a guy that's really depended on that blue line, and you just did not step into your guy. You kind of wove your stick around at him. But again, that's if we're nitpicking on Owen Power just because he has played really well. So, and at the end of the day, you weren't going to win every game. You're going to lose at some point. But I think the biggest letdown here is the fact that you didn't perform better. This wasn't a 2-1 game, a 4-3 game, a 3-2 game, or even a 4-2 or a 5-3 game. You got pretty outworked from start to finish. And again, just a very uninspiring effort. I'm going to hit the chat here real quick and just kind of get a pulse on everybody's thinking. Paul Hamilton is stupid. Oh, you really think they won't lose another game? No, idiot. We were expecting to play with some fire and passion. You had a chance to make team history. A couple of your players being on Olympic teams get excited. Instead, we get the Sabres think they are hot stuff, just getting 10 wins and a couple of players making it to the Olympics. Points are at a premium. It isn't over for them. Would have liked to have kept this game close. The power play too is something that I can't. Have they not? How many games in a row have they not scored on the power play? It hasn't been good at all. It needs to be better. Team isn't that far off. Get a short-term D-man and get rid of Quinn, and you're good. I think, Jack Quinn, the conversation surrounding him, he has not been consistent this year. He has really kind of been that same guy we've seen, other than the fact that he's been healthy. He just has not been somebody that you could depend on. Very soft on the puck, easy to knock off pucks. He's a very one-dimensional player. Fantastic in the shootout when you get there, almost automatic. But other than that, man, I don't want to say he's useless, but he's felt kind of useless, to say the least. Always peek at the chat. I've seen you guys earlier. You guys are letting me know that I was off on the chat. Wasn't paying attention to the chat. That's why you always pay attention to chat. I was muted to start. I was having issues with my microphone here, and I guess you guys didn't hear me. That's the problem sometimes when you do stuff like this, like live. Unfortunately. And yes, you were muted. Yes, I was. But I think I recovered pretty well. And it's also tough when you do the shows by yourself sometimes because somebody bouncing off like, hey, idiot, you're muted. But yeah, so they come back to Vancouver. I want to say it's on Tuesday, correct? I think it's very important to respond well to this game. Vancouver is a team that you should beat. They're a team that has struggled since the start of the season. The response is huge because you don't want to, after an effort like tonight, you don't want to really fall back into those lazy habits that you had pre-streak. Not showing up at puck drop, taking too long to really get your legs going, not playing team defense well enough. Not the forecheck. One of the bread and butter of this team, I think, for the most part this season has really been their penalty kill. But you just don't want to fall back into any bad habits that you had before this streak. And yeah, the response is huge. The response is huge. You need to come out like you're shot out of a cannon against Vancouver. I know those are like cliche sayings, but it's true. The response is going to be huge. Can't blame PUPL, but he is paid to be number one goalie. Got to make those number one goalie saves. Yeah, I agree. I would say the one on Olivier and then the shorthanded breakaway, that those aren't even number one goal. Those are the goalies. Those are saves you should make. You can't let those in, to say the least. But yeah, for me, it's you have to respond well against Vancouver. It's unfortunately, I think the Tuesday game against Vancouver is as important as getting a win tonight would have been. You don't want to fall into these habits where you're winning 1, losing 2, winning 2, losing 3 or 4. No, you got to keep streaking these wins together. No one expects you to go undefeated the rest of the season or go undefeated for a month or break. I mean, it would have been nice, but come close to breaking the all-time NHL or tying the all-time NHL record for a winning streak. But you were going to lose eventually. And that time was tonight. So it's time to string together some more good games. Like, even if you lose, you have to come out better than you did tonight. I felt, again, it just felt very lazy, in my opinion. I thought they were soft on pucks. I thought the puck management, the puck control was awful. Passing was not good. I thought you were way too passive, especially in the defensive zone. You weren't getting enough bodies to the net. And yeah, you need the goaltending, and you need Alex Lyon to get healthy, I think, here, because he's really been your workhorse. And hopefully, and we don't really know much about this injury. I've heard lower body. You would assume, given, you saw the play where he lost it. The play last game where he lost the glove when trying to dive after the puck took a weird hop off the backboards, and he tried to get back in position in front of the net. But yeah, you need that guy back. And do you start Colton Ellis against Vancouver? I thought Colton Ellis should have went in after the first period. Not because I'm sitting here thinking like, damn, UPL is awful tonight. But like, sometimes changing your goalie, can spark a team. We've seen it in the past, not just in Buffalo, but all over the league. It happens almost every night or every week when you change your goalie to try and get a spark. And it would have been nice for them to do that tonight. I think so. Maybe the result would have been different. Maybe not. I don't think it should take changing your goalie to get effort, to say the least. But I would think that unless Lyon between now and Tuesday is just healthy, we would see Colton Ellis in that, for sure. Um, the cat's here behind me, my brother's cat. Um, but yeah, so what's up? Here we go. Check her out. There it is. What's up, pretty cat? Yeah, you're pissed off too, right? I'm allergic to cats. It's probably not a good idea. But here we are, right? There we are. All right. Show right there. Um, yeah, I would say probably if Alex Lyon is not healthy, that we go Colton Ellis. Go Colton Ellis. Cat's sneezing on Tuesday versus Vancouver. I'm gonna pull up some of the post game quotes here from Brian Kozio at WGR. Ruff says our hands weren't connected to our brains. We had some good looks. We stayed on the outside a bit too much in the offensive zone. Ruff said they weren't quick enough overall tonight. Says the power play wasn't great. Says getting Zucker back in the lineup could be the piece that solves the issues when it comes to the power play. Ruff says that the poor puck play early and giving up 3 breakaways in the first hurt. It wasn't a good night for us. Norris says bouncing back is a good little test for us. Says there's no panic in here. Says one game at a time mentality is the key. Norris on the power play says they are getting good looks, but something needs to get better. Norris says that they were sloppy in the first and gave them too many looks. Says Columbus took it to us. Says it's one of those games. They know it was ugly and they just need to bring it back, bring it for the next one. UPL says the win streak shows them how good of a team they are. They know today wasn't an example of it, but it's been a great overall team effort. Darlene says that after the loss, now is the time to find out who they really are and how good of a team they really are. More from Darlene. We didn't look like ourselves, puck decisions, and some individual fuck ups. This is our test now. We need to bounce back here. So yeah, then that was it from the post game comments. So yeah, the players acknowledge that they didn't play well. The players acknowledge that they need to be better. And then they hold themselves to a higher standard, which is a good thing, to say the least. So 1 second, guys. Sorry, his family, family. My brother's got my back. I love it. Yeah, but here's the thing. I knew coming to this, win or lose, I was absolutely going to be doing a post game from here. And unfortunately, sometimes you got to deal with family in the process. My dad was trying to get the camera or to get the cat on camera, unfortunately. Maybe the team was still recovering from New Year's Eve partying. I mean, very much could be a possibility. They had a few nights in Dallas, right? Who knows? Little whiskey legs, right? Well, if Lyon is healthy, don't we have to make a roster move? Yes, you would have to. That's Leela. That's the cat's name. I'm assuming that somebody that is at the party is Chad is commenting in the chat. Are you kidding me now? Yeah. So I love that the comments from Norris and the comments from Darlene. The response is going to be huge. It's honestly responding and winning against Vancouver is probably going to be just as important as winning this game tonight, in my opinion. Because again, you don't want to fall back into any of those habits that you had before this streak, right? You don't want to, as I said before, you don't want to fall into just not being ready to play once opening puck drop. You don't want to put yourself in positions where you're not playing cohesively as a 5-man unit. You don't want to be passive. You want to control the neutral zone. The passing and puck management does need to be better. So with that being said, this game against Vancouver is very, very, very important. I will say this. I saw there was a lot of criticism of Lindy pulling the goalie down 4-1 with 8 minutes left when I don't understand why Benson got that penalty too, by the way. I thought that was very, very interesting. to say the least. I didn't think that was embellishment at all. I'll never understand calling both, honestly. If you're going to call a trip, then it shouldn't be embellishment. If you're calling tripping, you're essentially saying that the player was tripped. So it's either tripping or it's embellishment. It shouldn't be both. I'll never understand calling both. It makes no sense to me at all. So it's always kind of going back to Benson's rookie year. He'd always get those like phantom penalty calls against, and I felt like that's what that was. But yeah, I wasn't a fan of, shouldn't say of pulling the goalie, but you just have to have better puck management when you don't have a goaltender net. I know you'd rather play five, try and play with a little power play, especially down 3 goals. I could see both sides to the coin there. I would say if Buffalo was playing better, yeah, it makes sense, but they just did not look good at all. Like just having the man advantage there, I don't really see how it would have benefited them given the way they were playing, and they just weren't playing like a 5-man unit, and how poorly the power play in itself was performing altogether. Like I know at 4-on-4 they can't ice the puck, and that means you get an icing, so it's not like you had a power play and then you made it 6-on-4, whatever it might have been. But I could see both sides of that argument. Try and at least make it 4-2 before you pull the goalie instead of 4-1. But I understand. I did see one comment too from my buddy, from this guy Sean DePaz. He's one of the guys who works on the What's Chaos podcast, and he did mention that Lindy pulled the goalie because that's how important the winning streak was. Yeah, I totally get that. I actually agree with that. That's how important it was to win that game. That you're willing to pull your goalie during a 4-on-4 to try and get a goal back real quick and get yourself back in that game, because it's not more realistic to come back down by 2 than it is down by 3 with 8 minutes left. So yeah, I get that. That's how important the winning streak was and is. But now that it's over, as Bill Belichick would say back when he was coaching the Patriots, on to Vancouver. That's the next test. Next game mentality. Yeah, from Doug Spry. You don't pull your goalie with 8 minutes. Sabres are awful when they pull him anyways. Yes and no. I've seen it work out in their advantage in the past too, but no, I get both sides of that argument. For sure. From Anth, didn't think of it that way. Very good perspective. Yeah, I think Sean did make a good point. That's how important the winning streak was. That's how important it was to him to get that 11th win and set the franchise record. And I agree. I agree. I know we joked about, I did joke about wanting to go to the airport after the game, but I still feel like maybe we should. Because you don't want to know why? Show the support for these guys. That we're not just bandwagon, we're here when you're good fans. That we're here to pick you guys up after the fact too. And I do know there are fans out there that still want to go. That still want to show support. I know of at least 20 that are going to go. I'm currently in Java Lake. I'm going to try and make it myself because I want to show my support too. I don't care. This team feels different than that team in 2018. They just do. I think you're tonight. I think that again, better goaltending would have helped, but I think just as a 5-man unit from up and down the lineup and coaching decisions too, I would have liked to see them shorten their bench pretty early there. Given the amount of time they had off in between games, just put your playmakers out there, your elite players, and hopefully come out with a goal and shorten the bench. Sometimes Lindy does that, sometimes he doesn't. He didn't do it tonight. He kept rolling 4 lines. So defensively, they needed to be better too. I think I don't think you can name a single defenseman on this team that had a good game tonight. They all were not good. So that being said, before I get to my final thoughts, I'm gonna throw it back to our sponsors at Fatty Beer Company, Western New York's premier American tap room with over 300 beers to choose from at 7 different Western New York locations. If you need a beer, always make it a Fatty Beer. Let them know we over here 2 goalies when Mike sent you. Extreme discount mattress. We sell mattresses for less, a lot less. Make sure you check them out. They have 7 different Western New York locations, including their closeout center at 1625 Walden Avenue in Cheektowaga, which gives you even more savings. Up to 80% off out of floor models and closeouts. So make sure you go check them out. And of course, Impulse Physical Therapy of Western New York. It's time to ditch the physical therapy clinics that treat you like you're just another number and step into the world where you're the center of your care. Impulse is owned by Buffalo's only board-certified sports physical therapist. And we work one-on-one using science-backed technology with 3D motion analysts and force plates to help you exceed your goals and become the healthiest, strongest version of yourself. So come and experience the Impulse difference today. I mentioned this for a discounted $77 assessment on your first visit. So again, shout out to our sponsors at Extreme Discount Mattress, Impulse Physical Therapy of Western New York, and Fatty Beer. Always appreciative of them helping us support this show. And again, as I said before, my final thoughts are this. This was the loss that was eventually coming. It's unfortunate timing. You would have liked to break that franchise winning streak record. You couldn't get it done. It is what it is. Now it's time to, reassess, watch some film, get back after it on Tuesday, actually maybe even tomorrow morning, right? I'm assuming there'll be some type of practice tomorrow, definitely Monday, and then just get back at it with Vancouver. The response to this game is huge, I think. And I hope it's sold out on Tuesday. I hope we show them our appreciation for the 10-game ride they gave us and how important that was to us as a fan base. We've seen it all over the internet. I've talked to guys at the gym and how fun that's been. I've talked to people at the grocery store, and this is all true. Like, people are hyped up for the Sabres again, and people are making plans for Sabres games again, and that's a big deal. And right now, the playoff, I know I'm not sure what the standings say right now, but coming to this game, they were in a playoff spot. They may have fallen out, depending on how the out-of-town scores went, but the Eastern Conference is so tight right now that it's anybody's game. And before today, I think 5 points separated us in first place in the division. That's how close it's been. And we had games in hand. I'm pretty sure we still have games in hand. So time to honestly just, reevaluate, get back after it on Tuesday, and go win a hockey game. I'll talk to you guys later. And as always, go Sabres. See you soon.